I think.
There is. Doing this,
I hated that.
Yeah, they will touch your private.
I hated that. It made me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, us too.
And
so we really needed to get that, because somebody will touch you like private. Yeah.
How did the name Emax come about? And then you introduce yourself in the same breath.
I'm Emmanuel.
Hey, I know you're Emmanuel, but I want to know like the name Emax.
The name Emax. People, it was just an abbreviation of the name Emmanuel. Yeah.
Who came up with it?
I think the first time I had Emax, I was at junior school.
Okay.
Head of house, she liked calling me Emax. So I think she's the first person who ever called me that, and just
okay. So do you think having in your life it will push you to do the course that you did, and then how are you applying it in your job right now?
Okay. The course that I did, I think it was influenced mostly by my personal experiences. I went through depression from 2013. So I pursued a bachelor's degree in education counseling so that I can understand why some things happen the way they did, and also be in a position to heal myself, and also be in a position to help others with similar experiences.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're working as a counselor.
Yes, I've had the great opportunity and privilege to be a counselor at Botswana Gender-Based Violence Prevention and Support Center. This is my third year as a counselor there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, Usimolote immediately after varsity?
Yes.
How did you even know about the opportunity?
God Almighty, I believe God provided the opportunity.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. I went around looking for places. I couldn't find any, and I happened to go to this other organization. So I told them, I'm Emmanuel, my intention, but this is what I can do for you. They said, no, we have already absorbed someone, so we cannot take you. They're like, okay, no, go to this other organization. They gave me the directions. I went there. It was the Kaisam Society Women's Shelter at the time.
Yeah.
So I went there, and they accepted. It was the first time that I learned about that organization. I didn't know anything about it before that time, and they accepted me there.
Yeah.
And I did my internship for 2 months. I didn't want to practice as a full-time counselor. I just wanted to help people on the side. This is because this profession can be challenging. Sometimes there are things that shock you, it can be overwhelming and whatnot. But mostly the scariest thing is the complete so I started, and as I was practicing, my plan was that eventually I'm going to leave the profession, but it just so happened that I fell in love
with
the profession, and my skills got sharpened. I learned how to really resolve a client's problem, how to assist them.
So what's a typical work day for you look like?
A typical work day, I will get at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m.
Say it for the camera.
When I'm early. So we start our day at 8 a.m. So, and I either meet clients waiting for me at the reception area, and I go and assist them, new clients, or follow up clients.
Sorry to cut you off, but so the client is already more. Are they just walk in, or do they have to do like an
Hokkien.
Okay.
Some of them are those whom I would have appointed.
Yeah. And I think I didn't know about the shelter before my mom took me there the other day. I knew about it, of its existence, but I didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
So how do people find out about your services, where you are, what you do, stuff like that?
Okay. We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Botswana Gender-Based Violence Prevention and Support Center.
Okay.
So people can find out information about us there. And we also do house-to-house visits where we inform the community about our services. Sometimes we are also invited for TV interviews, radio interviews, and we also disseminate that information. So we have offices in Broadhurst, it's Montaro, and that's Gaborone, and we have offices in Francistown, Polole, and that's where people can find us. And our contact details, we have, our landline is 390-7659, and our cell number 74265081. We also have other numbers that they can find on our Facebook page.
Okay, so why those 4 locations?
Why those 4 locations? Those 4 locations are in existence simply because the resources that we have, they allow us to be in those places. But it is our desire to be all over the country because the need for these services is just all over. So we have shelters in Francistown and in Gaborone, but their location is a secret.
And that's understandable.
That's why when you visited our office with your mom.
Just before Christmas, I took a moment to go to the shelter. I gave a mobile piece. Office
at the shelters unless there's special arrangements made. This is so to protect the survivors there.
And I read your article in the Daily News. You were talking about the numbers going up during lockdown and how you did because of you don't have the resources most of the time, something like that.
What I was saying was that sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, our accommodation is temporary. As soon as we admit clients, we have to make sure that we discharge them to create space for others who might need help. So we tell a lot of we have a challenge in Kali Resort. A lot of people are in need of shelter, especially during a time such as the lockdown, but we do not have adequate resources to really accommodate them. During the lockdown, there were a lot of cases. We had been operating only with 1 shelter before the lockdown, but during that period, there was a need for us to increase the shelters. I think we had about 8 shelters, and right now I think we are left with 4 due to resources. It's not like the shelters have reduced because the need has also reduced. No.
You do fundraisers for God, just so that we can acquire more resources for the shelters.
Yes, sometimes we do, and other times there are people or organizations and corporations who do those events, and the proceeds that they get from there, they donate them to us.
Okay, that's nice.
But what I love about Botswana is they were really forthcoming during the lockdown, and even after that, still forthcoming to assist us. They want to know what our needs are, so that they are helping, but it's still not enough. We need more assistance. There's need for more offices in other locations, need for more shelters.
And I know you guys had a shelter specific for men during lockdown. What happened to it? Is it still in operation?
The community has always scrutinized us as to why we didn't have a shelter. Actually, even myself, I was
Yeah.
stereotypical to this name. I started women's shelter. I was like, so I'm a male person. I'm going to be working. What does this mean? I'm at a women's place, but fortunately, I saw other men. That was okay. So they're men.
Yeah.
So just that name, guys, I'm such women's shelter. People were thinking that
it's just for women.
It's just for women.
Yeah.
And even with GBV, you know that people feel like it's just all about women, and men are being left out. There's a certain truth to that, but not entirely. So they had that perception that the women's shelter only existed for women, I think maybe because of the name. But that wasn't the case. Even at the time that the women's shelter was called such a women's shelter, they were still assisting men just as they were assisting women in all areas.
Okay.
But during the lockdown, there was a need for there to be a men's shelter. It was there because some men, some weeks, I'm not sure how. We had 5 men, a total of 5 men, but still that's a very small number.
It's a very small number,
as compared to the numbers of women that we receive. But the reality of the situation out there, and I'm saying it as a man, is that the problem of GBV does affect men, but not as it affects women. Women are more affected than we are, but we are also affected, and we need to be helped.
Yeah. And I was gonna ask, who takes on the responsibility of talking about when to join the shelter again? Let's say after 3 weeks and you need to discharge them because you don't have space or the resources to help them there. Who takes the responsibility of making sure the person is okay after that discharge?
Yeah, from the onset, from day one, the responsibility of a client is not entirely on the counselor. It's a collective responsibility between the counselor, the client, and other stakeholders, be it the family, the government, and any other relevant person. So the role of a counselor in any given situation it's a helping profession. We help clients to resolve their problems or to cope with them, because there are those problems that can be solved and there are those which cannot be solved. Just like diseases, there are those which have cure, and there are those which do not have a cure. So it is very critical for a counselor to play the role of helping. The client should never be dependent on the counselor. So we empower them so that they could be in the position to resolve their own issues. So after the client is discharged from the shelter, it is their responsibility to ensure that they work on resolving their issue. But there are some that they need the support of the counselor. So if they still that need for the support of the counselor, even full time, then the counselor will be there to assist the client and also seeking help from other relevant people.
Okay, but do you guys as counselors get counseling?
It is very important for us to get counseling, because there's what they call vicarious. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. The English is not properly. Vicarious trauma. So this is a trauma that you get from assisting people, because what you hear can also traumatize you, and people go through a lot. So you need counseling also. And imagine every day you are hearing problems, because as a counselor, it's not like there's anything special about you. You are just not animal mind here. I don't know, in your daily life you can have problems. And the reason why relationship in the profession, you cannot help someone you know, for example, is because objectivity is lost. You become biased when you are assisting someone you know. So when you have your own situation as a counselor, you become biased on your own situation. You cannot apply those skills that you always give to people. You know.
Do you think the government's done enough during lockdown and coronavirus whole period to help both counselors and survivors of gender-based violence? And what do you think can be added to the help that or the work that they're already doing?
That is a tough one. But I believe the government have done their best. We appreciate the help that they provided us, even just giving us permits to ensure that we are able to Yes, I was. But I was given that essential because during the first lockdown, we worked really hard.
Yeah.
We also really made a big impact in the community. At the center. So we're able to evacuate people who need help. Some sessions we had them at people's compounds. So that was only made possible by the government.
Yeah.
And also the food parcels that they were giving to people, that was really something beautiful for clients. Obviously, here and there you find there are areas still operating Disney cards and operating one or two which operate yeah, but we are appreciative of what the government did. That was my own perception and my own experience, and I don't know of other service providers.
Yeah.
They could have a different opinion than myself.
Okay.
And even to see just the leaders themselves here about what are GBV, and even just putting some measures in place like this special courts at GBV, sexual offenders bill. We are yet to see their effectiveness. But that's something, it shows for a but and then they have a dialogue about GBV. So now when we're having a dialogue, we are challenging those things that we were taught. That is the main solution to GBV. It's education. People just need to know to change because the effects of violence, if we learn about them, this is what is happening in our nation. We are having this dialogue around these issues, and even some there are different categories of perpetrators. There are those who do it deliberately because they know that they don't even care. But there are those who do it maybe because of the socialization. Some of them are not even aware that this is wrong. This is not the right way of doing it. So if they learn, what I've been doing is terrible, it's wrong, they have the opportunity to stop doing it. If they've been believing this, now they can believe in something else. But when you know you are supposed to help, Mosadi has not honest live in the household, then you are able to change your position. Now we see a lot of men cooking, we see a lot of men bonding with their children. And this lack of bond, it's one of the things that cause for fatherless homes, because a man has never been made to see the importance of them being there. Now when these things change, they get to bond with their children, they get to love with them. There's nothing wrong with a man showing affection. As far as you are less of a man, you are less masculine. It affects positive change in our society. Slowly but surely. We have been having this conversation since way back. And gender-based violence does not start with the lockdown. It has been there even before. Lockdown in by spotlighting because people had nowhere to go, and they were overwhelmed and forced to come out. But the problem has been there, as evidenced by the men at trash movement. The men of at trash movement, it's not like that's when GBV started also. People were fed up, people are being killed every day, and they were fed up, and then that's when the movement began. And even that outrage, it does affect some men positively. This is happening. This is wrong, So that message here, it makes a difference, and we should never tarry in talking about GBV, in educating people, in condemning it, because slowly but surely it makes a difference. This is, like I said, something that we learn for a long period of time. So changing that technology will change. It also takes time. That's why we need to be relentless and really patient in this endeavor to combat GBV.
What's your opinion on moral education and just education in schools concerning GBV and addressing violence?
They are very important.
But are they doing enough?
No, they're not. and it's not their role or their responsibility. I don't know if I'm still speaking proper English.
But yeah, my mom said something about this the other day, about how a lot of parents expect schools for a deal with their bana about morality and violence, and that's something that should be taught at home. So how when I get school on moral education, how then I'm introduced to domestic violence, and you're like, oh, I didn't know this is domestic violence. So I don't know what needs to be changed.
Everything.
So by dismantling the whole curriculum.
Everything, even the way you drink tea needs to change to educate people about GBV. You know, so it is not the role or responsibility of moral education alone or religious education alone to help address these issues. How can gender-based violence is systematic? And what is culture? A way of life. So it has been embedded in all aspects of our lives. How can
Okay. So what now do you think about consent classes? Do you think they should be there, compulsory consent classes?
Yes, they should be compulsory. They should be embedded in all the subjects. Every teacher should be in a position to teach their students about consent.
Yeah, and it's so weird because like you say, but then it gives you what consent was. But how get then when you get in, they actually have classes. Like orientation I think on a section like a consent. And there are scenarios about consent.
There is very dire need for that.
And there's like a lot of unlearning to do, I think.
There is. Doing this, in our culture, you know.
I hated that. And it's like, it's okay, it's fine, this should happen.
Even at school, a lot of people, children are playing that manner.
It makes me so uncomfortable. But I know, like, if you know, our bodies have a way of telling us if something
is wrong. But you are not sure, and you cannot tell somebody off. But if this education is widespread, you can say, no, this is wrong. That they've had, they will be ashamed to do this.
In closing, what do you have to say about gender-based violence in Botswana, and what kind of information do you wish Botswana could know about you guys?
We are known as a peaceful nation. We have peaceful democracy, but our homes have no peace. The message that I can say to Botswana is I would first of all urge the alleged perpetrators of gender-based violence to desist, to stop. And if there are circumstances that people like us come to us and other people who offer services such as and seek help and be helped, you know. It is possible not only change us from doing something that is bad and start doing something that is good. And what I would say to the survivors of gender-based violence, the first thing that I would want them to know is that GBV is never their fault. It is common for survivors of gender-based violence to blame themselves after such experiences, and that is one of the things we can prevent. There are many factors that can prevent people from reporting, but that's one of the factors. Happy sometimes they are manipulated, they are blamed for what they experience. I'm doing this to you because of this and that, or you are the one who, maybe you are raped, for example, you are the one who did this, that's why I ended up doing this and that. By they were to tell us, so you don't deserve that. No matter what you have done, you are not, that does not call for you to be abused. And there are two ways, in my opinion, in my view, to deal with gender-based violence. Actually, three. Maybe there's a fourth. If there's anyone who knows the fourth, they can come forth. And, so the first is reconciliation. And for reconciliation to happen, in my view, the perpetrator has to stop perpetuating the violence, and then you can continue living together peacefully. And the other way, the first option is to evacuate, to leave the abusive environment. But this is one of the things that most cases you didn't have people to do, but it's worth doing. I will elaborate more sessions if they were ever to listen to me. The third one, which some people usually choose to do, they choose to stay. They just stay there because that is a recipe for disaster. That's what I want them to know. So I'd implore them to seek help if they find themselves in we need counselors to help us to carry those burdens. We need friends and other people or other support systems to help us. So if you weep there already, seek help.
And also they must know that your services are free.
Very important. Very important point.
Because yeah.
Very free from charge.
Okay.
And very friendly.
Yeah, no, ako cycle matutun. Ako cycle
Hello, Rosa. If you are listening, and you are